All right, we should be live. We should be live for another day of Canadian politics. And I have a little something else to show today. Another day. We just set up the stream. Let me just quickly get into this so I can set up the stream here, and then we'll get right into everything. right into everything. Conservative MP Chris D'Entremont has officially crossed the aisle, and the press was able to get some quick questions in with Michael Barrett.
Should they resign and ask for their
Mr. D'Entremont says he's not the only one. He doesn't think he's the only one.
Well, as I told your colleagues upstairs, all the questions should be for Mr. D'Entremont this morning. I would encourage you to look at his own words about his Prime Minister. We've been very consistent about what we've said our expectations were for this budget. And Mr. D'Entremont, let me just share with you his own words. He said that, quote, "We warned that the Liberals' out-of-control spending and massive deficits were irresponsible, but of course they did not listen. Now, after 6 months under a new Prime Minister who promised financial discipline, Canadians are still waiting. He said that he would be judged by the cost of the grocery store. Well, Canadians are judging him, and they're not impressed." So that's what Mr. D'Entremont had to say about Prime Minister Carney. And so here we have, as a member of Parliament, and Mr. D'Entremont, who said one thing and is now doing another, who said one thing to his constituents, that he would fight for an affordable budget to provide affordability for Canadians, and that's certainly not what we've seen. I can tell you that, along with my Conservative colleagues, that what we've said we wanted, we were very clear with the Prime Minister, gave him the opportunity to consult and to make adjustments where needed if we truly are at this turning point. Well, I'll tell you what the turning point is. It's more Canadians turning towards food banks because they can't afford to feed themselves. You look at Deloitte's report about the food packaging tax that the Liberals have kept in place, raising the price of fresh produce by 30%. You look at the industrial carbon tax and the effect that farmers are telling us that it's having on raising prices for consumers. That's why we're seeing people struggling with this affordability crisis. So I can tell you that it's pretty rare that a budget getting dropped and before we caucus for us to be able to say how we're going to vote on it, but it's crystal clear that the Prime Minister was not interested in providing an affordable budget for Canadians, and he's looking instead to try and provoke some kind of costly election. We're looking. That's a question for Mr. D'Entremont.
From your perspective.
Yeah,
But what do
you
you think about him saying that other colleagues might join him, that he doesn't think he's the only one? Are you worried about other Conservatives crossing the floor and giving the Liberals
I'm not going to
a majority?
engage in speculation on rumors. I'm going to tell you that it is crystal clear that this is not a budget that provides affordability for Canadians, and that's what they expect, that's what they deserve, and that's how we're going to vote. Have a great day.
There you have it. I don't know if any other MPs are going to cross the aisle. I seem to be having some issues on Rumble. Maybe it'll figure itself out. Maybe Rumble won't get a stream today. But the point being, if more Conservative MPs cross the aisle, the majority is there for Carney. It's only like 2 seats now. So if we get a Liberal majority, we are screwed. We are absolutely screwed. And the fact that D'Entremont was just willing to jump ship so quickly is quite frankly just... It's spineless. He's a coward. It's... Yeah, like, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? You ran on the Conservative platform. You were clearly fine with everything the Conservatives were doing for 6 entire months, probably closer to 7. And now all of a sudden, no, I'm actually a Liberal. I'm going to... And he's trying to play this off as if he's a red Tory. There's no such thing as a red Tory. A Tory is a Conservative. If you're liberal, you're liberal. Just flat out admit it.
I know you just spoke of Mr. Poilievre and the direction he was going, but I'm just wondering whether the Conservative leadership style perhaps pushed you out of caucus.
Well, I think that's probably a part of it. I didn't find I was represented there. That my ideals of an Easterner, of a red Tory, I mean, quite honestly, of trying to find ways to to find solutions and help your community rather than trying to oppose everything that's happening. And I think that's the opportunity that's being offered by Prime Minister Carney and the government caucus is to help find solutions at this critical time for Canada.
I know you just
So, a red Tory, he's pretty much just a progressive conservative, because conservative being the loose word there. He was always progressive. And now he's eventually just said, screw it, I'm going to join Mark Carney. It's just, all right, you enjoy that. That's pretty much an end to your career. Because no conservative is going to allow you back. And the Liberal Party, watch, during question period, the Liberal Party is going to prop this up. They're going to say how the Conservatives are in shambles and it's the end of their party and Pierre Poilievre's leadership is in question and yada, yada, yada. Apparently, a lot of the drama surrounding Chris d'Entremont, he didn't get Speaker of the House, which is what he wanted, apparently. I don't know if that's entirely true. That's the rumor floating around. There's also a lot of other things. He wants to blame Poilievre. He wants to say he wants to work with the other side and not oppose everything. Carney and the Liberal government tabled the most insane amount of spending this country has ever seen. At a time where people literally can't afford anything and they're expecting people to fork out even more money in taxes to pay for this absurd spending. And he thought that was a great idea to cross the aisle. So the Liberals are going to prop him up. They're going to say all these things about the Conservative Party. And then when they've had their use with Chris d'Entremont, they'll toss him aside. See you later, Chris. We've used you. You played your part as a pawn in our chess game to potentially pass the budget. If more Conservative MPs cross the aisle, they will be used as well as pawns in that chess game, and they will be tossed aside when the time comes. The Liberal Party doesn't actually care about these Conservative MPs. They just want to pass the budget. And when the time comes, that's it. See you later. Used and tossed. That's what's going to happen to MPs like Chris d'Entremont. And they'll either get tossed aside or they'll be replaced when they are no longer useful. Mark Carney, shockingly, will actually show up to question period today. Wow, I know. He's actually coming to his job for once. All right, guys, here we have some special footage on the ground in a D.C. I believe this is Washington, like the city, not the state, like the capital. So let's take a look at what's going on here, live right now in D.C.
Earlier you got like surrounded and they were like, don't talk to him.
I know, kind of wild.
Yeah. So what have you seen today in regards to ICE and immigration enforcement?
Today here?
Yeah.
In Washington, D.C.?
Yep.
I'm not seeing any ICE agents out here right now, but I'm seeing a lot of protesters.
What are the protesters saying?
Oh, the protesters, they're upset obviously with what's happening. You see the signs right there. They're saying Trump's got to go. They're saying that ICE is the modern day Gestapo. Lots of things out here today.
Is it similar to what you've been seeing in different states?
Yeah, this organization, they've been advertising. I've seen their advertisements in New York City on Broadway. I also saw it in Portland just the other week. These people have been advertising all across the country just to try to bring people here to Washington, D.C.
And is the common consensus like Nazi, ICE?
Look at this one. Tyrants, dictators, dystopia, greed. They're all out here saying that Trump's a Nazi, that this is the modern day fascism, neo-fascism. I've heard that word as well today. It's interesting to hear how the slogans and everything are kind of coming back from, they're trying to weaponize Trump and calling him a Nazi and whatnot, but I do not believe it's true.
And you were just at the White House, right?
Yeah, I was there just a few weeks ago.
How did that go? Was Trump like a nice guy? Everything was...
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah?
It was cool to go inside the house, the White House. A lot of people don't get that privilege, so I was super excited to go in there and speak on what I spoke about.
So you were also in New York City yesterday talking to people about their votes. What do you think is going to happen in New York City now that Mamdani's obviously going to be the mayor?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. He's promised a lot of things. I guess now we're going to have to give him a shot and see what happens in New York City. I wish him the best, but I also think you're going to see lots and lots of changes inside New York City.
Have you ever felt unsafe at an ICE protest?
Oh yeah, lots of times. These people come after me, they throw water on me. I've had to get pulled out of a few protests because of protesters attacking me. and whatnot. So
And I saw the sniper video. What was that situation?
yeah, Antifa tried to smoke me, essentially, he said, and he came out, pushed me, took his helmet off. He's probably gonna try to, I was cornered up against the road, and then a sniper came and pointed it on him, and luckily got me out of there.
Awesome. Well, we love watching what you're doing. We are pro-legal immigration, pro-America, pro-law, so...
And nobody's against immigrants.
Right.
People are against illegal immigration. We had mass immigration. Now we have mass deportations as a repercussion of the mass immigration that we had here in the United States. People don't get that though.
Yeah, and we just appreciate your coverage because the media is totally skewing everything. They're only showing the bad stuff. They're not showing the murderers, the rapists, the child traffickers that are here, that are being deported. So you're really doing a fabulous job.
Thank you. And people make the argument that immigrants do less crime than American citizens, which is true, but they're doing crimes that are unnecessary. Laken Riley would still be alive if that guy wasn't brought in here to the United States and wasn't housed and sent to Georgia. She would still be here. Same with Jocelyn Nungrass. She would still be here. So it's unnecessary crime that's happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'd love to have you on our podcast sometime if I could give you my business card.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. God bless you guys.
Yeah, stay safe out there.
How's it going? Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Safe out here.
I will. Yes, I need a water or something. I'm parched.
Mr. Justice from California dropped everything to be here, to mobilize, because nothing less than driving out this fascist regime is going to measure up. She's going to
Hello. Do you accept Cash App? I'm parched right now.
Everybody hear me out there?
What's up? I'll take a Coke. Here, put in your Cash App.
Before we get into this shit, I do have an announcement though. Some unlucky lady.
We got Mark here, everybody. He's dressed as Superman.
If you are a lady who lost her phone, please come see me at the edge of this stage.
How much is it?
After the chant.
$5 for this? Really? You sure? Yeah. You not upcharging me right now? $5? All right, yeah, I got you.
While the walkie-talkie is going, this is a good time.
Oh, he's definitely upcharging him. It's the capital. Everything there is going to be upcharged. It's a tourist
Have a good day.
destination. I'm gonna go grab some more water. I will be right back.
They're talking about come being out here every single day. Free DC. From what? Free DC from what?
Free DC, the people in DC don't have voting rights, full voting rights. Do you know that?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we're not represented in Congress, for example.
As a state, right? Do you think they should make DC a state?
Yeah, I do think that.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it would be. We're actually larger than 2 other states by population, and another 2 or 3 about the same size.
Yeah, I think I've heard them talk about that. Like, I don't know if it's realistically gonna happen, but I've heard that like conversation a few times about people wanting DC to become a state. What would that do to the Electoral College?
Well, that's probably one of the reasons why it's not happening very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, today, DC is very liberal.
Yeah.
So it would probably mean 2 more Democratic senators that it would need, and 1 more representative. But historically, I mean, DC has been all over the place politically. If you go back 100 years, I mean, it was largely Republican, and it's really changed a lot. So it's not a very good excuse not to give people their voting rights.
Do you think they should make Puerto Rico a state?
I think that's the people of Puerto Rico have to decide if they want to be in the state. They've never decided that. They've had referenda and have decided twice, I think, to remain the way they are.
And
The
so,
people of DC have had a referendum and voted to become a state.
so if you're a Washington D.C. voter and you're voting in the election, where does that vote go to? Does it go to the District of Columbia, or does it go to Maryland or to Virginia?
Right now,
Yeah.
we don't have a vote.
So when you vote, it doesn't matter.
We can vote for president.
Yeah,
that's
when you
it.
vote for president,
Yeah.
where does that get counted to? The District of Columbia, or does it get counted in
Yeah, just
Maryland?
Columbia has a electoral.
Like
yeah,
electoral
yeah.
as well? Interesting. Yeah, it's just such a small area, though, Washington, D.C.
Well, it's 750,000 people. That's as many as Alaska. It's more than North Dakota, more than South Dakota, more than Montana, more than Vermont. You know, why isn't it a state? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see what happens. I don't know if Trump's going to do it, but maybe the next Democratic Democrat president will do it.
Well,
Who do you think's the next Democrat president?
Even that's disappointing because when Obama was president, and Democrats had both houses for 2 years and moved very little. Moved a little bit, but not very far. Because I think even Democrats are afraid of it.
Who do you think's the next Democrat president?
God, these chants are
You
terrible.
feel like the Democrat Party's kind of lost right now? It seems like Zoran Mondami's like the man right now, but he can't ever be president.
No, I don't know if he is a man. I mean, he's a good guy for New York. I don't know about the U.S. But
We have a phone.
Yeah.
So
I really don't know.
Who would you put right now if you're like, oh, we got a Democrat president in office tomorrow? Who would you choose?
Please,
California.
Newsom?
as well.
Newsom is funny
And
because
we are going to have
he
Wendy
originally
Stone
was
kick
not
us
exactly
off
my kind of guy, but he seems to be
as we
rising
get
to
ready
the
to march. Make sure you're getting
demands
inside.
of the current era. I mean, his style, his way of speaking is.
And as we're gathering,
I was really
we're gonna
impressed with the way he managed this referendum.
listening to Wendy
Uh,
Stone. We're
so,
going to be joined by the
I mean,
Handmaid's Army
he'd
DC.
be certainly a possibility. Yeah.
Nice, nice. It looks like we got the handmaids coming up here. Let's show everyone this. We got the handmaids coming up. Hey, nice speaking with you.
Yeah.
God bless you. Have a good day. We got the handmaids coming through. Thank you very much, Crazy Steel, for becoming a member. Look at this old lady.
Oh my god. You can't be serious right now. Wow.
Now we got some screamo here. The Trump must go now. We got a panther. What the heck is going on? You got these old ladies fired up. This lady's fired up right now. We got the handmaids up there. We got the handmaids up there.
In the name
Yeah.
of humanity, refuse
She's
to
stoked right now.
a fascist America. Fascist America.
All right. I'm gonna do a little skip ahead here because the audio is so bad and that oh goodness.
Silence and complicity. Oh, I didn't choose Satan. He found me. I'm here against my own will. I only work for the devil so I can survive, like most of us.
Really?
Yeah.
I like to work for Jesus Christ. What makes you want to work for the devil?
We are currently watching Trump ICE protests. This is Nick Shirley. He's a very solid, on the ground, I guess, journalist or reporter or whatever he wants to call himself. I don't know. He's a YouTuber. But he's going around and, God, that screamo was something, that's for sure. Anyway, let's get right back into this, and then we're roughly 15 minutes out from question period. I'll let this run for a little bit longer. Yeah, the music was crazy.
Oh, this is your thing?
Yeah, we just talk to people at protests.
Oh, okay. Well,
I believe in Jesus Christ, so I also understand the devil also has a lot of influence as well. What influence has the devil had in you in your life?
so my entire portrayal of the devil is a joke. I didn't realize I had to say that explicitly, but the reason why I'm doing all this is to paint a caricature of fear and what happens to people when an idea is inflated and when fear is used as a way of controlling you and keeping you in line. I do this as a caricature to send a message because something so silly can cause so much fear.
Did you know that Satan actually wasn't in, like, Christian mythology until very recently? You know, the Satan in the Old Testament was just a force of, like a judge in the Old Testament, and it's been so contorted with modern Christianity. It's changed a lot since its origin, and Satan as a character is a very modern concept, actually.
So you don't think Satan's a historical? You don't think he was here in the beginning of time?
No.
No. So how do you think Satan evolved to where he's at today?
No, this is in the capital. This is in DC. But yeah, New York City is now Mamdani land. So if you know anybody that lives in New York, you might want to try and get them out of there. And if you live there, you might want to get out of there. And just a word of advice, probably don't ever visit New York City. Just saying. You would probably benefit from never visiting it, especially while Mamdani is running it.
Today where he's rippled society.
It was some Mesopotamian deities. There was Baal, there was Yahweh. They were Mesopotamian deities in that area. Yahweh was a storm god originally, and he actually a bunch of different gods, like El, if you know El being referred to in the Old Testament, that is a different god from Yahweh. And the old people to put together the Old Testament actually merged a bunch of different books from a bunch of different primordial deities.
So do you believe that there is such thing as the devil?
No, because this is all made up by people.
Do you believe Jesus?
Your
Do you
entire
believe
mythology
Jesus is real?
made up by people. No.
No.
He
What do you
might
believe
have
in?
been a real person, but I
Do you believe there's a savior in this world or no?
No.
So you
I
just
think
die
we're
and
all
we go to dust?
individual people. Yeah. Probably go back to nothing when we die. I mean, there's no way to know that, but yeah, your religion is based off of other religions, and it's all just stuff people made up in the end. Does that make sense?
What do you hope comes of your life after this life? Do you hope there is a life?
I hope that I'm happy. I hope that I form good relationships with people, and I hope that I do things I believe are ethically moral.
Do you believe there is an afterlife, or do you believe we just all go to dust?
I think that this is our
Would you like to believe that there is a chance that you may be resurrected with your loved ones again?
No, not really.
Trying to march. So
Yeah, we're kind of busy here. I kind of wanted to get the attention off my friend here, and I tend to
'Cause, I mean, we're all
info dump
none
about
of
Christianity.
none of us are ever going to know until we go to the other side. But I'd rather have hope in another life than not.
just because you don't believe in the afterlife doesn't mean you don't have hope, man. Anyway,
She said she's going to dust, going to dirt after this life. I'd at least like to hope for something better. No, why would that be a good
You know what? I have to agree with him. Like, that's a pretty depressing way to think. Just saying.
thing? What's the purpose of living a life with morals and values if you don't believe you're gonna get recompensated for some of the way for the human you were on this life? What's up? Hold it like this. I want to shake your hand. God bless you. I will be safe. Because in reality, what's the point of living a life with high morals, doing good things, if you do not think you'll be rewarded on the other side, on the next side of this life, right? Like, I think we're all going to reap what we sow in this life. So hopefully, based off of your actions in this life, you'll be rewarded in the next. Or else we'd all just be living, floating around here, doing whatever we want. There's the reason why you feel good when you do something good, and you feel bad when you do something bad. There's good and evil in this world. Where are we marching to? This is where things get interesting when the march starts going. Where are we marching to? We're marching. We're gonna go talk to the Congress. We're gonna go reopen the government. We're gonna go sign a bill and get the government reopened. Look, we got all the handmaids out here. What'd you say?
The Trump regime has got to go.
The Trump regime.
Yeah, I'm having second thoughts about asking for what it is.
Dang, they trusted you a lot with that microphone.
Yeah, they sure did. I think that was a little bit misplaced. Maybe it take a little bit of practice.
Yeah, take some practice, get that thing going. We got a panda out here.
Like, just take a look at the surroundings here. I'm gonna do a little bit of a skip ahead here because they're just kind of screwing around. This had to be like a mass-produced, paid-for event. Somebody with a lot of money was able to print a lot of signs. I mean, like, come on. Come on. Let's be real here.
Free. We got Antifa out here. We're not fascists yet. No, we're not fascists, right? We don't support fascism. You think so? Yep. There, yes, sir. How are you doing, sir?
All right, 1, 2, 3. Here, we'll pretend like we like each other. Thanks, man.
Do you do security? You down to go fight the vendors on Canal Street?
Don't hire my people right in front of me, bro.
In New York City.
That's where I'm from.
We got to go to war on Canal Street, all right? You down? All right, well, give me your contact info. Because I'm declaring war on Canal Street. They attacked me last night. Taking Canal Street back.
You gotta pay him well, Nick.
Oh, if he comes and takes back Canal Street with me, we'll take care of him.
So when I come to town, I still get priority because I found him first.
Okay. You live in New York?
Yeah, from Brooklyn.
All right, you down to, well, dude, because they're tall and they're big. They're all from Africa. We got some people from Senegal there.
That's where they stay at.
And we got to take back Canal Street. Lots of great conversations out here today. But not with these people in the yellow vest. Wow. Dang, bro. I'm declaring war on Canal Street. You guys heard it here first. Last night, things got wild on Canal Street. That's all I'm going to say for right now, though. But I am taking back Canal Street. Because all the scammers are back. They were gone for like a few days, and then they all came back. Goodness gracious, we got Antifa. Just a bunch of people that don't have anything else to do with their Wednesday.
He's not wrong, though. That's the thing. If you take a look at a majority of these people, they're like boomers and people who want to relive the 70s and like 60s protests and the peaceful protests or the whatever the hell is going on, the summer of love back in like the 70s and shit like that. That's what these people are, right? That's what a majority of them are. And now they're here like an elected official, a literal elected official who won the popular vote, who got millions of votes, and they call him a king. It's just so incredibly weird. And you have people here in Canada that participate in the No Kings protest. It's like they don't even know history. It's like they don't even know what happened back in, February? Or was it March? April or whatever? When King Charles showed up? Everybody was clapping and celebrating because it was a big moment in history for the king to show up. Then you're going to go protest No Kings in the United States, which it's just insanity. It's truly wacky, weird thinking. And even yesterday, that Virginia mayor or whoever the hell, that Democrat, was going on about the Commonwealth. And it's like, you guys are protesting No Kings, but then are proud to be part of a Commonwealth. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. And I understand, yes, the Brits were a part of the States at one point, just like they were a part of Canada. They have much stronger ties to Canada. But it's like, man, some of these people are delusional, out of touch, don't know history, clearly. I don't know what it is. It is wild.
Pro-woman, pro-choice, detrify the patriarchy. Nice. Black Lives Matter.
And they cry about Donald Trump deporting illegals, right? And they get upset about that. Here in Canada, they get upset about that. But the Liberal government plans on doing the exact same thing. So, I don't know. Are they going to get upset at that too? Probably not, right? Probably not. They'll turn a blind eye to that. Orange man bad. Only the orange man. That's all I want to focus on. He's the only important thing right now.
It's a hot take to say all lives matter.
All lives do matter. It's just, you know,
Black
lives are in danger.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, there's nothing wrong with shedding a light on a certain community. Sometimes, you know, not everything needs a spotlight all the time.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, I'm cool that we agree that all lives matter as
All
well.
lives matter. No one said all lives don't matter. If we were out here saying only Black lives matter, then that's a little messy.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you know.
So I've had some people get mad at me for saying Black lives matter, white lives matter, Asian lives matter, all lives matter, and they get mad. They're like, no. And I've had some people say white lives don't matter. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No,
all lives
definitely matter. But if a certain group or a certain community, you find them being under attack more than most, then I think it is, like, you know, our duty as people to shine light on that. And
All right, so the House of Commons is slowly opening up here, and we will be heading into statements by members, which is literally roughly 15 minutes of virtue signaling for the most part. So instead of doing that, I'm going to continue to play this, and then when question period is about to begin in a minute or so, actually a minute or so, which will be probably 2:15, 2:20, then we'll jump in.
How are you doing anything gotcha, ma'am? We're just having a conversation.
no, it's okay.
Yeah, they just don't like free speech. That's what their problem is.
I don't think that's it. I think there's just a time and place for everything.
I agree. You have a great rest of your day.
You too, thank you.
Oh, my Antifa member, Ricky Bobby. Dang it. Thank you.
Antifa member Ricky Bobby.
Finish this water real quick. All right, we're all recharged. Here we go. Now we're going into the protest. Where are we marching to, ma'am? Well, I'm here with you guys. I'm showing what's going on. You got quite a bit of people. You could tell them what you're here for. But where are we marching to?
Turn that thing off and we can have a conversation.
Well, I'm working right now.
Yeah, what's the work that you're doing?
Yeah, we're here broadcasting, showing people what's happening here in Washington, D.C. at the Refuse Fascism protests. That's what we're doing. You have an opportunity to tell people what you're out here today too for as well, if you'd like to tell me.
I don't like to talk like that.
Yeah. Do you think that's part of the problem with like our current government right now?
One-on-one. I like to talk one-on-one with people. I don't want to pretend to talk to the whole world.
Oh, okay.
I'm not of the right generation.
Yeah, it's all good. But could I ask you where
You're not of the right generation, but if MSNBC or whenever one of these CNN mainstream media news networks came and talked to you, I bet you would be more than willing to have a conversation. These people are crazy, man. She literally is having a one-on-one conversation with him. There's nobody else there. The phone is just a phone, right? So it's the same thing when it goes with mainstream media. There's going to be thousands of people watching on the other end of that camera. Wherever it goes, the feed goes to. Same idea here. It's no different. I'm not from that generation of what? Of people asking questions and being on television? Like, come on. What are you talking about?
Too?
I'm not really sure I know.
Okay. All right, looks like everyone's gathered up here. Let's see where they're going. Thank you, Stephanie, for becoming a member.
And at the end of the day, she has the right to answer questions if she wants to, or she can not answer questions. That's entirely up to her, but her reasoning behind it was just really stupid.
Where are we marching to today? Can you crush that? All right, everyone's stopping here. The slide looks like they're getting direction from the police as to where we're going to be going. Yeah. What's good? How are you doing? Sell lots of newspapers today? Yes, sir. That's what's up. What do you think about DC now?
DC since I'm the kid.
Yeah.
I'm in Ward 7, you know, in D.C.
What brought you out today? She's gonna tell you not to talk to me in just a sec, so just get ready for that.
You can talk to him if you want to, but
You a good person.
I look like a person.
Good person, yes.
I'm a person.
I'm working for Street Sense Media. I'm a writer. And I help a lot of homeless people out here.
Great.
And I'm trying to get Trump out of the White House.
Yeah?
What makes you want to get Trump out of the White House?
You know, he told people to knock the tents down and for the homeless, you know. Yeah. You need to go.
No kings in America since 1776. All right, everyone's gathered.
1776.
Thank you, JP.
Oh, that's a new chant. They're coming up with new ones now.
The reason why they're out here today is because this is the 1-year anniversary of Trump getting elected last year on November 5th. So this is why they're coming here to try to take over, take on the streets, show what they're out here protesting for. And it's all part of the refusefascism.org. They're the organizers here. Now it looks like they're marching to the Capitol. All right, let's see what happens now. We're in the belly of it. What does your sign say? Gulf of Mexico. Of the people, by the people, for the people. Amen. We got a bowl out here.
No, exactly. That's what they do. You got it.
Thank you very much. Warfighter, thank you very much. Watson, appreciate it. All right, we made it to the front of the protest. Here they are. Here in Washington, D.C. right now, you have a group of protesters. You even have the Joker out here with Trump must go now with refusefascism.org. It looks like their initial sign ran out, so they put another one on it. And everyone is going to be marching down.
Their initial sign ran out, so they had to improvise. That's too funny. All right, guys. Statements by members is underway. But I figured we'll give it a few more minutes. I'll keep an eye on this just to make sure I don't miss anything important.
To the Capitol, as they're all again.
The budget's going to be huge. It's going to be the only conversation, and the Liberals are definitely going to talk about the conservative MP and potentially more conservative MPs that all of a sudden want to cross the aisle. I don't know why. It's like you ran on the conservative platform for 7 months, literally through an election as well, and then all of a sudden you're going to turn coat. Oh, the conservative platform wasn't for me anymore. I consider myself a red Tory. That red Tory doesn't exist. You're a liberal or you're a Tory. There's no red Tory. You could be a progressive conservative, and those progressive values overtake your conservative values, which is why you went that way. But no, you can't be a red Tory. It's ridiculous.
What's happening here in the United States, calling it the Trump regime, calling it fascist. This is a little interesting. I don't know how many people we have out here. We got quite a bit. Here we go, everybody. We're going into the belly, and now we're going to the belly of the beast. Here we go. We got people dancing. What are you dressed up as? What are you? Can I touch it? Oh, that's real right there. Dang. She's gonna tell him not to talk to me. All right. Your boss is telling you to march. All right, everybody.
I will say one thing, these ICE protests or Trump protests or whatever the hell you want to call them, they weren't as crazy as they were back in the summer and before the summer. That was wild. They were going onto the highways, the freeways in California. Crazy, crazy stuff going on in that state a few months ago. This is in Washington, D.C. They're just on the street.
Wow, that's quite the seashell. Bro, someone's got to tell the man his cracks flaring. They just keep stopping in the middle of the road. This is going to be a long walk to the Capitol. Oh my gosh, they got the people from Portland here. You have the Portland chicken. How'd you get here, Portland chicken? Portland chicken all the way out here.
Hi, Nick.
What made you want to come out here, Portland chicken?
This is a pretty monumental event, I think. We'll see how it pans out. Good talking with you.
Where's Pam at? People all the way from Portland came out here. He's the Portland Antifa chicken. He's on the front page.
Antifa chicken. Dude, there are some literal characters. What the hell?
I like money. They're not gonna make me do shit, but I'll take their money. They take mine.
So you'd like some free stuff from the billionaires?
If they're handing it out, I'm not gonna say no, but I'm not gonna ask.
Awesome. I'll let you get back to the protest. I just thought the outfit was nice, and your pronouns are he, him?
That's right.
Awesome. What were you born?
What was I born? Oh, I was born biologically female. Yeah.
And how does that transition go? Do you feel like there's at what age did you decide you want to become he, him?
What was that?
At what age did you decide you want to become he, him?
I guess I committed to it when I was 20.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Do you feel like life's more peaceful for you now, or do you feel happier now?
I'm more content with myself, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you feel that way.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Have a great rest of your day today.
And you.
God bless you. I'm super curious, what that would be for somebody, that switch from she, her to he, him. How does that is that just something that you just wake up one day and feel, or is it a lifelong battle that a lot of people face? Interesting topic. That'd be a very interesting video to do, is showing the transformation.
Showing the transformation. Nick Shirley is fucking hilarious. What an absolute legend. So if you haven't seen Nick Shirley before, he goes around to these major protests and other things on the street, local or not local or whatever, just happening in the States. He travels all around. The point being, he acts very friendly, because if he were to act any other way, he would get fucking trampled by thousands of protesters. So yes, they go around, they call him a right-wing troll, that he's not somebody that is there in good faith, or he doesn't have good morals, or whatever the hell they want to say about him. He's simply just going around getting the scoop on the ground. What the hell, man? This is what we're dealing with, right? I mean, it's there in the States and it's here in Canada. It's really no different. But yeah, definitely a channel I would 1000% recommend you check out. That is my statement of the day. Statements by members, by the way. Here we go into Parliament.
Beloved Edith, Dad to Kevin, Barry, and Ron, father-in-law to Marnie and Larissa, Grandpa to Noah, Nikita, and Eva, and brother to Roger, Bob, and Jim. Thanks, Vic, for everything you have done for our riding, for our community, and for our country. You will be missed, Vic. Hear, hear.
The honourable member for Brampton Centre.
Mr. Speaker, today I rise to recognize Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Gurpurab, an important celebration for Sikh Canadians. Today marks the birth of the founder of Sikhism, a spiritual leader who continues to guide millions of Canadians across the world.
I wonder if Chris D'Entremont is going to stand up today during question period. He's officially a liberal now. He's officially 100% a liberal now. There's his page on the government website, Parliament of Canada, House of Commons. But there he is, liberal affiliation. A lot of people, and I honestly kind of have to agree, if you cross the floor, I feel like it should have to go to a by-election. You propped yourself up, you ran, you promised constituents, conservative constituents, a lot of them even, that you were going to uphold those values and their concerns. Now, I don't know, their job is to go around to their riding and ask questions and learn more about those concerns, but it just feels really strange, you know, for him to turn coat at a time like this. Should be a by-election, get him out of there, or if he has the backing to win that riding again, then there you go. It just seems really strange. That's all. And I would say the same thing if a Liberal MP were to cross to the Conservative side. If any MP crosses the aisle to any party, instant by-election.
And spray parks in their local communities or eradicating polio worldwide, these friends and neighbors stand shoulder to shoulder, roll up their sleeves, and just do the work. Today we are closer than ever to ending polio once and for all. Working together, we will win. And along the way, every one of us will be individually better for having taken part in the fight.
The honourable member.
Yeah, and it should be a by-election because you were put in place by people that believed in the conservative, I guess, agenda or beliefs or whatever you want to say. Now you've turned to a different party. You're no longer representing those people. They didn't vote Liberal. So it doesn't make any sense that you just get the free ride into the next party when the people that backed you didn't vote that way. It's just the way I believe personally it should go.
In the 2007 by-election, she remained the Member of Parliament for the riding until 2011. She is known for her local involvement, her presence, and for being close to the people. I am very fortunate to personally know these two dedicated individuals who are also independentists with steadfast convictions. It is a true privilege to know them. Yvan and Eve-Marie, your retirement is well-deserved. Thank you for everything you've done for our region and for the country of Quebec. We will remember your contributions.
For Fleetwood Port Tills.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to address a matter of grave concern, public safety in Surrey. Residents are deeply worried about their safety and the security of their livelihood. 74 cases of extortion are currently under investigation. These are not just statistics, they are families, entrepreneurs, and neighborhoods living in fear. With Bill C-14, we have an opportunity and a responsibility to work together across all levels of government to restore safety, confidence, and peace of mind. I want the people of Fleetwood Port to know that their voices are being heard, and our government remains firmly committed to ensuring justice and safety for all Canadians. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Yellowhead.
Food Banks Canada has given this Liberal government an F when it comes to poverty and food security. With Canadians paying over $800 more for food this year than they did last, it's no wonder food banks usage has skyrocketed across the country. The hidden Liberal industrial carbon taxes on fertilizer and farm equipment, along with the so-called clean fuel standard, keep on increasing the cost of food for Canadians due to the need to transport all our food. This has become so unsustainable that more families are going hungry every day. This Liberal government decided to announce a deficit of $78 billion, which will continue to drive up the cost of food in Yellowhead and across the country. Every hour this budget adds $10 million to our national debt, which means $5,400 in inflationary spending per household. Imagine the impact of $5,400 would have on Canadian families. It's time for Liberals to scrap the hidden food taxes so Canadians decide how they want to spend their own money.
That's right. Here, here. The honourable member for Milton East, Halton Hills South.
November is Women Abuse Prevention Month. 1 in 4 women in Canada report experiencing intimate partner violence in their lifetime, and alarmingly, those numbers continue to rise. In my community of Milton East, Halton Hills South, Halton Women's Place provides critical shelter, counseling, and support for women experiencing domestic violence. Last weekend, I joined their annual Hope in Every Step walk, an event that raises funds and sends a clear message of solidarity and hope to every woman seeking safety and support. It was deeply inspiring to see survivors, families, advocates, and volunteers, and many young men who came with their local sports teams. The Burlington Cougars, Iroquois Ridge Football, the Milton Menace, and the U15 jump basketball team, led by Milton's own Raheem the Dream Chaudhry, who has been walking in this event since he was just 7 years old. Their participation is a reminder that ending gender-based violence requires all of us to stand together, challenge harmful attitudes, and foster a culture of respect, equality, and safety.
The honourable member for Kamloops, Shuswap, Central Rockies.
Mr. Speaker, Private Members Bill C-291 passed with unanimous support in the last Parliament to replace the term child pornography in our laws with what it really is, child sexual abuse and exploitation material. Sexual abuse and exploitation of children are some of the most horrendous crimes, and viewing child sexual abuse and exploitation material represents re-victimization of victims traumatized for life. Last week, the Supreme Court ruled that 2 men who had possession of hundreds of images and videos of children as young as 3 years old could not be imprisoned for a mandatory 1-year term. For the prolonged period, these 2 possessed hundreds of images and videos produced by torturing innocent children. But the court applied imaginary scenarios rather than the facts in issuing this disgusting ruling. I urge the government to do the right thing, stand with children and victims of child sexual abuse and exploitation material, and invoke the notwithstanding clause.
Hear, hear! The honourable member for Pontiac, Kitigan, Zibi.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to pay tribute to Private Basil alias Ojig of Maniwaki, son of William Ojig and Catherine Riel. He served with courage and dignity during the Second World War, giving his life to service to Canada on August 28, 1944, during the Battle of Normandy. His name is commemorated in the Second World War Book of Remembrance, alongside that of his brother, Private Robert Simon Ojig, who also made the ultimate sacrifice while serving the Royal Regiment of Canada. Mr. Speaker, today let's honor the sacrifice of the Ojig family and their bravery, and of all soldiers from Pontiac, Kitigan, Zibi who served and continue to serve for peace and freedom.
Honourable member for Medicine Hat, Cardston Warner.
Mr. Speaker, this fall my office surveyed Southern Alberta residents about their priorities and expectations for this federal budget. An overwhelming 76% of respondents indicated the cost of living is their top concern, and 80% of business owners said the rising costs were hurting their operations. Interestingly, 88% did not believe that Canada's economic situation would improve in the next year, and sadly, they're correct. The Prime Minister's spend less promise has been shattered with an $80 billion budget deficit this year alone, the highest thing ever in Canadian history outside of COVID. This year's interest on the national debt will be a staggering $55.6 billion, even more than our health transfers. This budget is adding $10 million to our debt every hour, which equals approximately $33,000 for every Canadian and climbing rapidly. The Liberals need to realize that every dollar they spend comes out of the pockets of hardworking Canadians. My voters are demanding the Liberals stop the reckless spending that's driving up the cost of everything.
Here, here, great.
Here, here. The honourable member for South Shore St. Margaret's.
Mr.
Mr. Speaker, this week we are joined by over 80 outstanding educators from across Canada who are taking part in the Teachers Institute on Canadian parliamentary democracy, many of whom are here today. As a former educator, I know how deeply teachers shape the minds and values of the next generation. Though I now serve in this chamber, I will always see myself as a lifelong learner, a lesson taught to me by many dedicated colleagues over the years. I'm especially proud to recognize my former colleague Darcy Moore from Forest Heights Community School, who's one of the lead organizers for this incredible program. To the teachers here today and to those in classrooms from coast to coast to coast, thank you for the work you do each and every day that inspires, challenges, and empowers the next generation of Canadians. Mr. Speaker, to all the educators, welcome to Parliament Hill. Thank you for the difference you make in the lives of young Canadians every single day.
Bravo.
Questions, questions.
All right, question period. Here we go.
Never in history has a budget ever forced Canadians to pay so much for so little. Every dollar that the Prime Minister spends comes out of the pockets of Canadians. He has broken his promises. He promised to spend less. He's spending $90 billion more net. That's $5,400 per family. He doubled the deficit of the Trudeau government, and he has added more debt than in any other year other than COVID years. Why is he doing this when Canadians cannot pay their bills? He's forcing them to pay even more. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, Canada is in a solid budgetary position. It is the second lowest deficit in the G7. It has the lowest net debt in the G7 and a budget that invests in Canada because we believe in Canada here. This Prime Minister is becoming the most expensive Prime Minister in the history of our country. In fact, it is bankers who are profiting, and Canadians will have to pay $55 billion on the interest of the national debt, and that is more than we are spending on health transfers, and it is more than the government gets from the GST. Every cent that Canadians pay in sales tax is not going to doctors and nurses, it's going to bankers. Why did the Prime Minister send healthcare money to bankers? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the debt burden right now is lower than it was when the government was conservative, and that is true. It's lower than when the Conservative government was in power. Second, we are investing in Canada, and we are protecting healthcare transfers and money for education and for social programs sent to provinces.
Never before have Canadians had to spend so much to get so little. This budget, with its record deficit outside of COVID, is a deficit twice as the size of the one Trudeau left behind, and $16 billion bigger than the Prime Minister promised. It has, in this spending, $5,400 of extra costs for every family in more expensive government. While Canadians are already unable to eat, heat, and house themselves, why is this Prime Minister's costly budget making them pay even more?
Hear, hear. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this budget has 75% of the measures are for our sovereignty, to protect our borders, to protect our communities, to protect our way of life. And the balance is for affordability, a middle-class tax cut that the member opposite missed because he was not here. Mr. Speaker, this budget invests in Canada at twice the rate as any budget during this millennium. We believe in Canada.
Hear, hear, hear. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
It is twice as expensive as any other budget, and it makes generational debt. And speaking of sovereignty, what about food sovereignty, Mr. Speaker? The Prime Minister's budget increases taxes on food production, with the industrial carbon tax on farm equipment, fertilizer, storage bins, and food processing plants. Sylvain Charlebois, Canada's food professor, says that it is arguably the most damaging aspect of the Liberal carbon tax. It is a tax across the supply chain that undermines the competitiveness of our agri-food sector. Why is the Prime Minister threatening our food sovereignty and driving up our food prices?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, in the spring, this government removed the divisive consumer carbon tax, and that has a consequence. That has a consequence for any business, any farm that emits less than 50 kilotons, which is every farm across this country. Mr. Speaker, the Canadian Climate Institute has done the analysis, and the impact of the industrial carbon tax on inflation is zero.
Apparently, the Prime Minister is still under the misconception that Canadians don't use steel. You remember that interview when he told CTV, he asked the CTV interviewer, "You don't use steel, do you, Steve?" Well, of course, farmers use steel in order to produce their food, in order to store their grains. Processors use steel in the apparatuses of their conveyor belts. The tax on fertilizer and equipment drives up the cost of food, not according to Conservatives, but according to Sylvain Charlebois. So is the Prime Minister going to tell Canadians that an industrial carbon tax on Canadian farmers is not driving up the price of...
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the impact of the industrial carbon tax on food prices in Canada is approximately zero.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Still thinks we use zero steel, Mr. Speaker. But on another subject, unfortunately a much darker subject. Last week, the Supreme Court ruled that a 1-year prison sentence was too much for possession of child abuse and exploitation materials. That sentence was already far too low for the two dirtbags who had literally hundreds of impressions and videos of children being tortured. Will the Prime Minister do the right thing, invoke the notwithstanding clause in order to put the rights of children ahead of the rights of those who abuse them?
Here, here, here. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sure I join all members of this House in condemning the exploitation of children as the most reprehensible sorts of crime. Mr. Speaker, that is why this government will be bringing forth legislation to combat these crimes, to penalize those who are responsible. That works within our Constitution.
Hear, hear, hear. L'honorable député de...
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker, you are well known for your financial knowledge, and in theory, the Prime Minister is known for that too. But let's be serious. Let us not try to fool people. Let us ask the Prime Minister to ask why tax credits for oil companies, the organization of FIFA, or health transfers are assets for the government.
Le très honorable Premier ministre.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, one of the most important aspects of the budget is the tax credits for investment into clean electricity. That represents $4 billion for Quebec for investments there. That is one of the main reasons to support this budget. The honourable member for Belleuil-Chambly. I don't expect the Prime Minister to want to answer my question. A tax credit. You are paying money to someone who gets the benefit of that credit. It comes out of government coffers. You cannot say that it is an investment, the value of which you are keeping with on your asset sheet. Does the Prime Minister think that accountants are idiots and that Canadians are idiots as well? The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Here we go.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to underline that Hydro-Quebec will be one of the biggest beneficiaries of this budget, and the environment will be the other big beneficiary. With it, when it comes to carbon capture, the truth is that right now, Quebec is using 350,000 barrels of oil a day. So carbon has to be captured for the production and transport of those barrels. The member for Belleuil-Chambly. It seems that there's embarrassment in the air, Mr. Speaker. So that's wonderful if money is going into good projects, and yes, this has been decided that it is good, but it is an expenditure. It's really, the Prime Minister must recognize that his budget is an austerity budget so that he can fund oil companies at Quebec's expense. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, this budget is an investment budget. It's a budget for generational investment. The pace of investment is twice as quick, and this budget is going to stimulate $1 trillion worth of investment by the end of the decade. It's a growth budget for Quebec, for Canada.
In addition to cooking the books, the Prime Minister also rigged his GST rebate on housing to make sure that 95% of home buyers would not qualify for any break at all. Zero, zip, zilch. And the Prime Minister, meanwhile, puts a new rising tax on steel, aluminum, glass, cement, concrete, all the things that go into making a home. In other words, the industrial carbon tax is a housing tax. With Liberals already having doubled housing costs, will the Prime Minister axe the industrial carbon tax so Canadians can afford a home?
The Honourable Governor of the House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, once again, the Leader persists and doubles down on these fake imaginary taxes that exist only in his head and on the talking points that he hands out. What I will tell you is this is a budget where conservative-minded voters, people who think of voting conservative in elections, you know what they like about it? They like the hope. They like the ambition. They like the economic growth. They like bringing this country together from coast to coast to coast to invest in our potential, to invest in our young people, and to grow this country to be the best in the G7, Mr. Speaker. That's what they like.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, he says it's imaginary, but it's in his budget. Does that mean the budget is a fictional document? Here it is on page 106, strengthening the industrial.
The honourable member may continue now that the prop has been put away.
Mr. Speaker, they say their budget is a prop and its contents are imaginary. We're in real trouble. Home homes take steel, they take aluminum, they take concrete and cement and glass. The industrial carbon tax drives all those things up. With our youth unable to afford homes, why don't they get rid of this tax so that we can bring down the cost of housing?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Speaker, you know what this budget does? It builds communities.
Carney run away already?
For young people in our communities. It ties this country together in a common refrain of hope and optimism and investing in ourselves. We're going to be investing in new homes. We're going to be investing in housing for young people. We're going to build it with that Canadian steel. We're going to build it with that Canadian lumber. We're going to build it with that best thing that we have, that Canadian ingenuity that exists in the youngest and the oldest, the skilled tradespeople of this country. We are going to build Canada. Conservatives like that, liberals like that. Let's build the country together.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
After the Prime Minister's depressing speech demanding young people make more sacrifices, I think the Liberal House Leader asked ChatGPT to write him up a little poem about how he could inject hope into his message. It didn't work, Mr. Speaker. Young people need houses for them to have hope. Houses are needed to raise families. Houses are needed to build equity and collateral and credit history. But the Prime Minister insists on applying an escalating industrial carbon tax that will raise the cost of everything that goes into making a home. So with the Liberals doubling housing costs already, why won't they get rid of this tax?
The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We know housing is top of mind for young Canadians, and we have heard them loud and clear. Budget 2025 delivers on affordable housing for young Canadians. It focuses on affordable housing and co-ops. It delivers on GST for first-time homebuyers, up to 47,000 homes that will see a big reduction in GST. Building all of these homes creates jobs for young people in the trades, great jobs for young Canadians. This budget delivers affordability for young Canadians.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
I don't know about that one.
Mr. Speaker, this Liberal government has doubled lineups at food banks to well over 2 million people. And right now, food prices are rising 40% faster in Canada than they are in the United States, which means it can't be some global or foreign factor on which we blame those rising costs. But Sylvain Charlebois, Canada's leading food price expert, says the industrial carbon tax, which is not only still in place but is rising quickly in this costly budget, is partly to blame. So single mothers, small businesses, and seniors can feed themselves while they get rid of this terrible tax on food.
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
As a former single mother myself, I can tell you the kinds of things that single mothers, in fact families, are looking for is affordability that's in this budget. Whether it's a middle-class tax cut for 22 million Canadians, whether it's protecting $10 a day childcare, by the way, a game changer for women, especially single mothers, but whether it's making the school food program permanent, whether it's investing in building trades, the kinds of infrastructure investments that will lead to good-paying jobs. We're here for young people, Canadians. Young Canadians.
The Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, since they started promising that program, the number of children lined up at food banks has doubled to 700,000. And food prices are actually rising 40% faster in Canada than they are in the United States of America. The questions I've been asking are to the Prime Minister. Apparently he doesn't have time to answer questions about homes and food when Canadians cannot afford to feed and lodge themselves. So once again, will the Prime Minister get rid of his regressive industrial carbon tax on Canadian foods so that single mums and seniors can afford to eat?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians don't have time for the kind of antics that the Conservative Party performs every single day. What Canadians want is investment in their families, investment in their children, investment in the kinds of infrastructure in small communities all across this country, including in my riding, that are going to make life affordable, that are going to build up the kind of infrastructure that allows for us to get ahead. And Mr. Speaker, lots of Conservatives feel that way in my riding. They told me so, and they've donated.
The Honourable Member for Wellington Halton Hills North.
Mr. Speaker, the last Liberal budget had a fiscal anchor of deficits of less than 1% of GDP.
This budget doubles those deficits, averaging 2% of GDP. The last Liberal budget had a fiscal anchor of declining debt to GDP. This budget increases debt to GDP. Will the government admit that its fiscal anchor is weaker than the previous Trudeau government's?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Speaker, I know they're having a bad week over there, but yesterday we tabled an historic budget to build our economy for Canadians, by Canadians, so we will never be reliant on one country again. We will spend less on wasteful spending so we can invest in our country and build our country, our economy, into the strongest economy in the G7. Mr. Speaker, from Canadians from coast to coast to coast support our budget. It's time for us to come together in this House like Canada. Time for the party opposite to support our budget.
The Honourable Member for Wellington, Halton Hills North.
Mr. Speaker, last July, bond rating agency Fitch warned that a material rise in the debt to GDP and a material rise in our deficits could lead to a credit downgrade. This budget doubles deficits and leads to ever-increasing debt to GDP. Will the government acknowledge that it is putting this country's credit rating at risk, not only to mention that it's saddling younger Canadians with a mountain of national debt?
The Honourable Minister of International Trade.
Mr. Speaker, speaking of young Canadians are looking at this budget for generational opportunities. We are unlocking new markets for them. Budget 2025, we're getting young Canadians, young entrepreneurs ready to get export ready through our SMA readiness program. Secondly, once they're export ready, we will launch the Can Export program to support them attend trade shows globally to showcase their goods. And once they have orders ready to go out, EDC will step in to support them to get into new markets around the world. This is how we're helping young Canadians and young entrepreneurs access new markets and create jobs here at home. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Mirabel. Mr. Speaker, there's been a lot of talk about a generational deficit of $78 billion in the budget, and it's true. What are the main points of this budget? The defense is the main priority, and the end to the struggle against climate change is done. There's even more credits for oil companies. These are all choices that Stephen Harper would have made because they are conservative choices. It's so conservative, in fact, that a conservative member became Liberal. And so we have a Liberal deficit with conservative priorities, and through it all, why is there nothing for the priorities of Quebecers? The Honourable Member of Industry, the Minister of Industry. I know my colleague very well, and I know his riding very well, and there's something that is clear, and that is in his riding, when you talk about expenditures and on defense, that has an impact in Mirabel, that has an impact at CAE, and for Airbus, for Dextron as well, it's going to have an impact on thousands of jobs in Mirabel. And my colleague right now is saying that this budget is not delivering anything for Quebec and for Mirabel. I think maybe he's disconnected from reality. The Honourable Member for Mirabel. Mr. Speaker, a deficit of $78 billion will have impact on the coming generations in my riding, but there's worse than that. The Liberals are creating this deficit, and they're announcing cuts to health transfers, and they're not investing anything for seniors. And they're refusing a preferential rate for the first-time home buyers, and they're replacing the only housing building program that works in Quebec by Build Homes Canada, which is going to slow everything down, Mr. Speaker. How is it possible to create a deficit of $78 billion and by giving up on all of Quebecers' needs? The Honourable Minister of Industry. Mr. Speaker, we were asked to invest more to build hospitals. We said, what did we say? Yes, excellent idea. We'll put it in the budget. And you can read, he could read the pages in the budget and you'd see it there in black and white. Quebecers said, we want you to protect our language and culture. We want you to invest in that because it's important to us. The Minister of Finance and the Minister of Culture, Quebec and Canadian culture, promised to invest more than ever in art and cultures. So when did you vote for this member?
Mr. Speaker, in 2015, 6 cents of every dollar was used to pay interest on the national debt. Yesterday's budget confirms that that number will more than double to 13 cents of every dollar. Wow. That's almost $76 billion going to bankers and bondholders to pay interest on the national debt. That's even more than the government will receive from taxing and GST. This, when the finance minister says he's making generational investments, is he just saddling the next generation with his unaffordable budget?
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, the member opposite simply is overlooking that Canada has a AAA credit rating, the lowest net debt to GDP ratio in the G7, has been world acclaimed in terms of a home for direct foreign investment, top of the G20 there, Mr. Speaker. The difference between that side of the House and this side of the House is that we believe in Canada. We believe in Canadians. We're diversifying supply chains and we're investing in our population so that we become the strongest economy in the G7. We ask them to join us.
The Honourable Member for Simcoe North.
Speaker, the difference is that every Liberal finance minister seems to keep breaking their fiscal promises. They said the deficits would be low and temporary. They were long and very large. They said the deficit would be capped. They said the deficit, the debt to GDP ratio would continue going down. The ratio went up and the deficits blew through the cap. Now we have a new finance minister with a new, weaker fiscal anchor. Will the finance minister confirm that this anchor is weaker, and how long before he breaks his promise too?
Yeah, how long? The Honourable Minister of Artificial Intelligence and Digital Innovation.
Mr. Speaker, we are a nation of builders. We're building it for young people. We have the best net to GDP ratio in the G7. We are building affordable homes. We're investing in trades and hospitals. We're creating 100,000 new summer jobs. We are investing in entrepreneurs. Why, Mr. Speaker?
They're just cooking them.
This is a budget of resilience. This is a budget of strength. This is a budget of hope. Why don't the Conservatives join us and build Canada strong?
The Conservatives that entire time were just yelling at him.
Speaker, the Prime Minister just delivered one of the most expensive budgets in Canadian history. He promised fiscal responsibility during the last election, but Canadians got a staggering $80 billion deficit instead. That's $80 billion in new debt that will drive up the cost of food, housing, and everything that Canadians buy. After hearing all this talk about change, Canadians are left wondering one thing. How is this Prime Minister's out-of-control spending any different than Justin Trudeau's?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Finance.
Canadians across this country empowered us in the last election, and now we're empowering them in Budget 2025. A budget that will make generational investments to create the strongest economy in the G7. That's exactly what we're doing. We're building major infrastructure, homes, and industries. We're protecting our communities, borders, and way of life, and we're empowering Canadians with better careers, strong public services, and more affordable life. We know a strong country can be even stronger, but it takes vision and leadership. It's too bad the Conservatives have neither.
The Honourable Member for Riding Mountain.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister isn't investing. He's spending on the backs of future generations. In fact, because of his reckless spending spree, Canadians will be paying over $55 billion a year in interest alone to service the debt. That's more money spent on interest payments than on health care transfers to help patients. Does the Prime Minister realize that his spending is lining the pockets of his banker and bondholder friends instead of funding our doctors and nurses?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Minister for Indigenous Services.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This Prime Minister doesn't only have a vision for what this country is now, but what it is going to be. That's why he has assigned multiple ministries to work on transforming healthcare in those critical spaces in the north, spaces that always lacked investment on this side of the House, spaces that never seen the light of day with having support on this side of the House.
My God, she's just straight up doing the salute.
Indigenous people with those critical services. It is something that we know all voters are asking for.
The Honourable Member for Mégantic-l'Érable, Lot-Binière.
A costly budget that will make life even more costly for Canadian families. With the budget he tabled yesterday, the Prime Minister will go down in history as the biggest spender in Canadian history. Almost $80 billion in deficits. He promised to spend less, but he's spending $90 billion more. That's $5,400 per family, Mr. Speaker. And you know what? All that money comes straight out of Canadians' pockets. Why has the Prime Minister chosen to drive up the cost of food even further with the most inflationary budget in our history? The Honourable Minister. Canada has a AAA credit rating and the lowest debt to GDP ratio in the G7. That's our fiscal position. But what's in the budget? We're doubling housing. We're investing in infrastructure. We're raising the salaries of our CAF members higher. It's unprecedented. We've cut taxes for 22 million Canadians. That's what's in the budget, Mr. Speaker, and I'm proud of it.
He's proud of sending us further in debt. That's insane.
Speaker, my riding of Halifax is home to a thriving defense sector with more than 10,000 Canadian Armed Forces members. I know that many of my constituents, including those in uniform, watched yesterday as the Minister of Finance tabled Budget 2025. Can the Minister of National Defence speak to the new defence investments Canada is making?
The Honourable Minister of National Defence.
Speaker, through Budget 2025, we're investing over $81 billion over the next 5 years to rebuild, rearm, and reinvest in our Canadian Armed Forces. This is a generational investment in defence infrastructure, in capabilities, in training, and of course, in our incredible personnel. From Halifax to Latvia, Mr. Speaker, when the brave men and women of the CAF answer the call to serve, they know we've got their backs, and they know it's time to build Canada strong.
Bravo. The Honourable Member for Newtecumseg-Gwillimbury.
Costly budget of broken promises is a disastrous attempt to put out the fire they started. Not only is the Prime Minister fueling inflation with the largest regular budget deficit in Canadian history, he's also hiking up the industrial carbon tax, driving up food prices. Families are already struggling to afford food, housing, and everything else. So why does this Prime Minister want to raise the industrial carbon tax and make life even harder for Canadians?
Honourable Secretary of State for Labour.
Mr. Speaker, we're creating opportunities for Canadians. Budget 2025 is about building Canada, creating opportunities for young people. We're building St. John's strong, Etobicoke strong, Vancouver strong, Halifax strong, Fredericton strong, Winnipeg strong, Bradford strong, Mr. Speaker, city by city, community by community, for our young people, for Canadians. Through Budget 2025, we're building roads, bridges, hospitals, water systems, community centres, homes that Canadians need, major projects in the national interest, Mr. Speaker. We're doing it with Canadian steel, Canadian lumber, and Canadian union workers at
The Honourable Member for Newtecumseg-Gwillimbury.
Is in this mess because of 10 years of Liberal deficits and taxes. Now this costly budget will make things worse by adding $10 million to our debt every hour. It's like cranking up the furnace and leaving the windows open, Mr. Speaker. Canada is the only G7 country where food inflation has gone up 4 months in a row. And by increasing the industrial carbon tax and driving up inflation, this budget will only raise prices higher. Why is this Prime Minister so intent on making life unaffordable for Canadian families?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Rural Development.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Speaker. I ask the Conservatives to join the rest of the country and love our country. I love Canada, Mr. Speaker. They always seem to call Canada down. On this side of the Assembly, we are marketing Canada, something you guys should do. On this side of the aisle, we are defending Canada, Mr. Speaker, something that you guys should do as well. At the end of the day, we're building, you're tearing down Canada. Shame on you. Let's get on the same page. Canadians deserve that, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Aurora Oak Ridges, Richmond Hill.
Mr.
Speaker, this Prime Minister's costly budget is full of broken promises and is the most expensive in Canadian history. It has the largest deficit in history outside of COVID. It will drive up the cost of food, housing, and everything else that Canadians buy. Liberals had a chance to lower food costs for Canadians, but they chose to make food more expensive by increasing the industrial carbon tax, driving the cost of fertilizer and farm equipment. Why is this Prime Minister increasing the industrial carbon tax and making food more expensive for Canadians?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Seniors.
They will be voting against food in schools for children, voting against an income tax cut for Canadians, voting against $75 million in apprenticeship training, voting against a refundable tax credit for personal support workers, voting against $45 million in funding to address violence against women, and voting against crucial supports for seniors like old age security. Canadians want to know, who are these Conservatives fighting for? Because it certainly isn't them.
The Honourable Member for Aurora, Oak Ridges, Richmond Hill.
We're going to be voting against adding an additional $300 billion in debt for our future generations. Said the food wholesale prices have increased in Canada versus the U.S. and that the one factor driving this is the industrial carbon tax. He also said that he's deeply concerned and expects that food inflation will continue to be a problem moving forward. Experts are warning that food prices will continue skyrocketing. So I ask again, Mr. Speaker, why is this Prime Minister increasing the industrial carbon tax and making food more expensive for all Canadians?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Children and Youth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our budget delivers historic investments to build Canada strong. This means strong families and strong communities from coast to coast to coast. That includes supports for youth in building skills to help them find and access high-paying careers. We are investing in training and supports for 20,000 youth facing employment barriers. We are investing in an additional 24,000 Canada Summer Jobs opportunities this coming year, co-ops, internships, apprenticeship opportunities for over 55,000 post-secondary students. Canada's new government has a plan to invest in youth. I encourage members opposite to support this plan and to vote for the budget. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Hastings, Lennox and Addington, Tyendinaga.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday Canadians got a taste of one of the greatest sins a government can commit: overpromise and under-deliver.
That's right.
The Prime Minister promised a generational and transformational budget crafted by the so-called master of monetary policy. Instead of reducing the deficit and showing fiscal discipline, he produced one of the costliest budget deficits in our nation's history. Rather than providing relief to Canadians by reducing the industrial carbon tax, he chose to increase it. Mr. Speaker, why is the Prime Minister raising the industrial carbon tax and making food even more expensive for Canadians?
The Honourable Minister for Crown Indigenous Relations.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This budget is about focusing on youth. Our government is investing in youth, particularly Indigenous youth. Investments like in Inuit Nunagat University. It'll be a landmark step forward for education and reconciliation in Canada. It'll strengthen local economies, build capacity in the north, and support Inuit-led research. We hope the members opposite will support this initiative and vote for the budget. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Hastings, Lennox and Addington, Tyendinaga.
Dr. Sylvain Charlebois, food professor, has quoted, "That's been our concern from day one. The gap between wholesale prices in Canada versus the U.S. food wholesale prices have actually increased, and we believe that one factor driving this is the carbon tax. It doesn't take a central banker to figure out that eliminating the industrial carbon tax will help lower food prices. Mr. Speaker, why is the Prime Minister choosing to raise the industrial carbon tax when so many Canadians can barely afford groceries?"
Honourable Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Food.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Canadian Climate Institute most recent research shows industrial carbon pricing have essentially no cost on groceries. In the face of uncertainty, Canadians are going to build the future we want to build for ourselves. As we work for the build the strongest economy in the G7, Mr. Speaker, our new government is helping our agriculture, fish, and seafood sectors adapt and respond to the economic challenges. This includes a new trade diversification strategy and $75 million of agri-marketing. I suggest they dig out their red and white sweaters and get them on and get on the bus.
The honourable member for Windsor-Tecumseh Lakeshore.
Mr. Speaker, this budget proves one thing. The Liberals don't understand how real Canadians live. Every dollar this government spends comes straight out of Canadians' pockets, and under this Prime Minister, everything costs more. After years of inflation and higher taxes, they've chosen to raise the industrial carbon tax. That means higher prices at the checkout line. Why is this Prime Minister increasing the industrial carbon tax and making food more expensive?
Good question. The Honourable Secretary of State for Labour.
Mr. Speaker, when we invest in unions in Windsor, we all win. Mr. Speaker, and we are empowering unions. We're empowering unions in Windsor. We're empowering unions across the country to train our young people. Because in Budget 2025, we invested that we're meeting our campaign commitment to double the Union Training Innovation Program. $75 million to help young people train to build Canada with Canadian lumber, Canadian steel, and Canadian unionized workers, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Bellechasse-les-Etchemins-Lévis. Mr. Speaker, the Liberals have tabled the most expensive budget with the biggest deficit in the country's history outside of the pandemic. This cost of this Liberal budget will drive up the price of food, and it's an irresponsible attack on our food security. Meanwhile, over 2 million Canadians are using food banks, and that will skyrocket with a deficit of nearly $80 billion. Mr. Speaker, when will the Prime Minister stop waging war on farmers and finally come up with a real plan to lower food prices? The Honourable Minister. Mr. Speaker, I have to admit I'm a bit surprised by the question from the member from the Conservative Party, because when she was a member of the Liberal Party in Quebec City, she voted in favor of putting a price on carbon. And so she'll be very relieved to learn that the industrial carbon price doesn't apply in Quebec because Quebec has its own system. So it's just hypocrisy coming from the other side of the House. The honourable member for Bellechasse-les-Etchemins-Lévis. While Canadians tighten their belts, this government keeps on spending recklessly. They've just added $90 billion in spending, or $5,400 per household. That's less money. This is going to affect people in Charlevoix. According to Sylvain Charlebois, the gap between wholesale food prices in Canada and the U.S. has grown, and the carbon tax is a major factor. Canada is the only G7 country to have had 4 consecutive months of rising food inflation. Why is the Prime Minister raising the industrial carbon tax and making food more expensive for everyone? The Honourable Minister. I'll repeat what the Prime Minister said. So that about the impact of the industrial carbon tax on food prices. It's virtually zero. And my colleague talked about conservative hypocrisy when it comes to food security. This is just another one of their inconsistencies. When she was in Quebec City, they did put a price on carbon, and it didn't stop there. Every day they vote against our initiatives to help families, whether it's food school programs, the child tax benefit, and so we will do without any lessons from the other side. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, Canadians rely on strong and reliable infrastructure every day, from safe roads and bridges to clean drinking water and modern public facilities. They expect the government to build, protect, and strengthen communities through historic investments. Can the Minister inform the House of the generational infrastructure investment planned in Budget 2025? The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank my colleague for that question. Canadians need strong, resilient communities supported by reliable infrastructure. Budget 2025 launches the Building Strong Communities Fund, a historic $51 billion investment to deliver modern infrastructure, enable new housing development, and strengthen communities across the country. Together with our partners, we will deliver the infrastructure Canadians rely on every day.
The Supreme Court has ruled that a mere 1-year mandatory prison sentence for the heinous crime of possessing child sexual abuse and exploitation material is cruel and unusual punishment. The criminals in this case possess materials depicting evil acts against children as young as 3 years old. Conservatives believe it is outrageous that these types of child predators could walk free with less than a year in prison. This court decision must be overturned using the notwithstanding clause, but the Liberals have refused to act. Why are they more concerned with protecting the rights of these vile predators than the rights of these innocent victims?
The Honourable Minister of Justice.
Mr. Speaker, let me be unequivocal. Child abusers are heinous criminals and should be treated as such by Canada's criminal laws. We will be moving forward with legislative solutions that will give clear directions to the courts to ensure that serious crimes are met with serious penalties. If the Conservatives want not only to ask questions in the House but actually achieve progress on this file, they can stop the obstruction on the Strong Borders Act, which is meant to give powers to law enforcement to actually stop child abuse that we know is happening. It's one thing to talk in the House, it's another thing to cast a vote in a way that will make a difference. I invite them to join the cause.
The Honourable Member for Chilliwack Hope.
Criminals who possess child sexual abuse and exploitation material deserve lengthy prison sentences. They cause unimaginable suffering and harm to innocent children. These precious kids will carry the scars of what was done to them for the rest of their lives. Conservatives and Canadians are calling on the government to invoke the notwithstanding clause and overturn this appalling Supreme Court ruling immediately. The Liberals refuse to do so. Why are the Liberals more concerned with protecting the rights of guilty pedophiles than standing up for the rights of innocent children?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Combating Crime.
Mr. Speaker, we're going to be bringing forth legislation that is going to address this particular issue. But I would like to ask why the Conservatives have been against every measure that we have put forward to protect our children, Mr. Speaker. We brought an online harms legislation. They voted against it. We brought lawful access tools for law enforcement. They are against it. Mr. Speaker, why are they protecting child abusers?
The Honourable Member for Lethbridge.
Two men pleaded guilty to having hundreds of images of innocent children. They were sexually abused, they were exploited, they were tortured. The Supreme Court made a decision that a 1-year jail sentence was too harsh. Conservatives vehemently disagree with this decision. The Liberals have an opportunity to use the notwithstanding clause and take a stand for innocent children. Why is this government concerned with protecting the rights of pedophiles instead of standing up for those children?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Combating Crime.
Mr. Speaker, I have been speaking to lots of families that have been victims of crime.
That's right.
And Mr. Speaker, many have been asking for online harms legislation. We brought legislation like that in this House. And that member, Mr. Speaker, was active in voting against it and made sure that that didn't pass in this House.
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, law enforcement is also asking for tools to catch predators. But the Conservatives, guess what, are against it, Mr. Speaker. So why are they so concerned about the privacy rights of criminals instead of protecting our children?
Okay, colleagues, order. The Honourable Member for Peterborough.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians elected us to build, protect and empower. In the North, that means reliable partnerships first and results people can trust. We have listened at kitchen tables across the North, and Budget 2025 reflects their voices. Could the Minister share how this budget delivers with Indigenous...
Sorry, but a member is asking a question, and there are multiple other exchanges happening across the floor. I don't know. I couldn't identify the voices, but there were many voices. It's okay. It's okay. I understand. Okay.
Good Lord, man.
It was both ends. Okay, we're going to start from the top. The honourable member for Peterborough.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians elected us to build, protect, and empower. In the North, that means reliable partnerships and results people can trust. We have listened to kitchen tables across the North, and Budget 2025 reflects their voices. Could the minister share how this budget delivers with Indigenous partners so communities see results where they live, and how this approach makes the North a driver of Canada's prosperity and a pillar of our sovereignty?
The honourable minister for Northern and Arctic
Good
Affairs.
question. No, it wasn't.
Mr. Speaker, Northerners ask for transformative
Bro,
change.
when the Liberal government goes off asking themselves questions, like, get the hell out of here. Enough of this shit.
Homes and hope for Northern youth. Our budget delivers year-round routes and ports across the Arctic Corridor and the Churchill Gateway to keep Canada strong and free.
Hear, hear.
Through Major Projects Office, projects will move faster with Indigenous partnership. So this means building with the North for the North.
The honourable member for Poilievre, Jacques Cartier. Mr. Speaker, yesterday the Liberals tabled a budget with a deficit of nearly $80 billion. Did you hear that right? Nearly $80 billion. That's huge. And the impact will be catastrophic. It's just the same old, same old. And what's more, the Liberals had the chance to reduce the cost of food by scrapping the industrial carbon tax. But what did they do instead? They increased it. Nearly $80 billion taken out of Canadian pockets, and nothing to counter food inflation. Can this Prime Minister stop breaking his promises and finally control his inflationary spending? The Honourable Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My mother knows the difference between an investment and an expense. My kids get the difference. And this budget is an investment in our Canadian youth, in our own resources, so that we can get through this crisis. Canadians elected us to do that, and we will do it. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, nobody
Speaker.
believes you.
The honourable member for Saanich Gulf Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A lot of Canadians don't seem to know that between the day a budget is tabled and when it's voted on, the government can make changes. I desperately hope and that the answer will be yes to this question. Is the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance prepared to be flexible, work in a spirit for the national interest, and be prepared to make changes in this budget before it comes to a vote?
Good question.
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, of course we are always listening to Canadians. What I would stress to the honourable member is that this is a budget that invests historically in climate competitiveness in this country, in getting Canada to net zero by 2050, and making sure that
the
Canada
grift
remains
continues.
a leader in the worldwide fight against climate change. I would invite her to compare us to any country around the world, especially our neighbours to the south. Put this in perspective and understand, and as I know she will, that this is an historic effort on an historic issue, and it's an historic budget, Mr. Speaker.
Et cela met fin à la période des questions.
And that puts an end to question period.
All right, there you have it.
Comme il est.
It being 3:17, the House will now proceed to the taking of a deferred recorded division on the motion at the third reading stage of Bill C3. Call in the members.
All right, it looks like we have a motion to continue debates and readings on Bill C3, the third reading in particular. I can only assume that the NDP are going to help pass this vote. The Liberal Party only needs 2 seats now for a majority. I believe it's 2. Or is it 1? No, it's 2. Regardless, they're just closer and closer to a majority. All they need is a few members of the NDP to pass things. Simple as that.
Before we proceed to the vote, I wish to draw the attention of members to the presence in the gallery, and please hold your applause until all have been recognized. The 2025 Gerhard Herzberg Canada Gold Medal for Science and Engineering Prize winner, Dr. David Wishart. Also with us are the winners of the Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council's John C. Poilievre Award, Donna Strickland Prize for Societal Impact of Natural Sciences and Engineering Research, ainsi que les lauréats des prix.
And the winners of the Synergy for Innovation Prize and the Arthur B. MacDonald Scholarships.
All right, well, considering this isn't like a major motion or anything like that, it's just for another reading of a bill. It's not actually going to pass the bill yet. I am going to call it here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day or night, depending on where you were from. And I will be live tomorrow for question period, same time. Take it easy, everyone.
A third time and do pass. The 10-minute period for members voting electronically has started, and the House will now proceed to